bait fishing. He will. Yeah, he's an addict. You should see his tackle. Come on, scoot down here. Sit on that one right there in front of you. And then Tracy Robinson, our local Bucks Island pro. Tracy has won the Race Scott Championship, the ABA tournaments. He's won several boats in competition around here. He's an expert on all our rivers, and he himself tends to do a lot with swim baits as well. So Tracy's going to join us, and we're going to have a little bit of discussion about what is one of the most unique ways to fish. And it becomes an addiction. I'm going to go ahead and start with Ryan here real quick. Ryan, if you go ahead and you'll grab the mic and introduce yourself and how you got into big bait fishing. He's originally from Southern California, and that's where this whole thing kind of got started. And go ahead.
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Ryan Escatilla. I'm the Director of Sales at Missile Baits. I've been swim bait fishing for a long time. I'm actually probably a washed up swim bait angler compared to these guys. I was doing this back in the 2000s when Ken Huddleston first developed the Huddleston Deluxe. We were going to Turner's Outdoors and buying them off the wall before anybody knew what it was. We kind of just founded the soft bait market in the West Coast, and then it just blew up until about 2010. And then swim bait fishing became really cool, and everybody kind of got on the whole train, and it still catches big fish to this day. It's probably one of the most funnest applications in the fishing aspects that I can say pick up and be happy to throw every day.
Tracy, you compete in a ton of tournaments around here. You've won a lot. Swim baits are a big part of your game. Kind of tell, being a Southern guy, Western guys, it doesn't surprise anybody to hear that we throw a swim bait. But you're a Southern guy. How did that become a part of your arsenal?
For me, I fish at Gunnersville a lot. I live here in Gadsden, but it's hard to this close to Gunnersville in 30 minutes and not make that your home lake. So I started spending a lot of time at Gunnersville quite a few years ago. So at Gunnersville, which is where I use swim baits more so than anywhere. I noticed a lot of those guys were really, whacking them on those bridges there and winning a lot of the tournaments there. It seemed like as soon as swim baits started hitting the market there, 15 or 20 years ago, that the bridges is where that really flooded out first. And I got to thinking, that those fish are obviously liking those big swim baits. So I started taking those 7-inch swim baits and just kind of going to the places where I would normally be throwing crankbaits and, DT, whatever. So I started throwing those swim baits, and then I started realizing I could even get deeper. I started going with 3/4 ounce, 1 ounce, even 1 1/4 ounce heads on them, to where I just turned that into my crankbait. I turned that into my jig. I turned that into my worm. I turned that into my Carolina rig. And I went, no kidding, for a few years back, maybe from 2015 to 2019. Any tournament I showed up at, that was going to be my primary bait, even now, even in February until the end of the fall, that was the bait that I was throwing up there. And I wasn't getting as many bites, but I was winning the majority of the tournaments in 2016, 2017. I won most any tournament I went to Gunnersville during those years. It was one on that bait. I was able to kind of keep it a secret there. Even the swim baits weren't a big secret. Most of them I was just using it on the bridges there. But what I realized, was just that I can use it anywhere and put it into those places. It won't get near the bites that I normally would, on some of the crankbaits, but the bites I was catching a lot of 6 to 7 pound fish. And that's kind of how it worked for me. Not so much a secret anymore. You see everybody tossing it everywhere up there now, but that's kind of how it started out for me. And I kind of got labeled as a swim bait guy there for quite a few years. So that was kind of my starting point.
All right, Brandon, you're from Idaho, Coeur d'Alene, tons of big fish. We talked about it earlier. Kokanee is a big forage up there for those fish, and they grow.
Yeah.
What got you into the swim bait?
I mean, I guess I'm kind of the crossover guy where I got into it with some of the OG, early 2000 stuff, and that's just from being out west. I was introduced to it a lot earlier. I was introduced to the drop shot, early 2000s, right? When it first was coming over. And so I got access to a lot of those techniques before they were popular. And I remember guys going from North Idaho, going down to the California lakes and picking up some of those swim baits, and they're bringing those techniques back. And I remember watching some of the guys like Paul and Sean Bailey and Kerr and these guys, and they made fishing look cool. And it was like the swim bait guys out west were the outsiders in the fishing world. for a long time. There are the guys that maybe were a little bit more on edge, but they had no problem. They were just going to try to catch the fish. And for me, it's such an addiction, right? Even at an early age, I think I was probably 12-ish, somewhere around 12. Because now it's just such a broad